ChatGPT said. Imagine reaching into an old jar of pennies. It's the kind that's been sitting untouched in your garage or attic for decades. And pulling out a coin that looks so ordinary, you almost toss it back. But what if that same coin could secretly be worth hundreds of thousands, even up to $1 million? What if the treasure you've been chasing your whole life has been sitting in your house, ignored, hidden in plain sight? Tonight, we're unlocking one of the most mysterious and misunderstood coins in U.S. history. The 1971 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Think about it. How many times have you had a penny in your hand and never given it a second thought? Pennies are everywhere on sidewalks, in couch cushions, in coffee cans, but once in a generation, a single penny flips the world of coin collecting upside down. And this 1971 no mint mark Lincoln cent is one of those coins. It's elusive, it's powerful, and it has already made collectors and everyday people who stumbled upon it into legends. But here's the question that should haunt you right now. Could you already own one? What if it's sitting in a dusty box of change you inherited from a parent or grandparent? What if it's already slipped through your fingers without you knowing? To understand why this coin is so explosive in the collecting world, we need to step back into 1971. Richard Nixon was president. The Vietnam War raged on, and the U.S. Mint was working at full speed to produce billions of coins. The Lincoln cent had been in circulation since 1909, and by 71, most pennies were considered so common, so ordinary, that nobody looked twice. But in the chaos of minting, a few coins emerge that would defy all odds. Now here's where the story takes a turn. Most 1971 pennies carry either a small D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But the Philadelphia Mint produced coins with no mint mark at all. For most years, that's nothing unusual. Philadelphia almost never used a mint mark. So why does this 1971 no mint mark penny stand out? Why is it sending shockwaves through the numismatic world? The answer is chilling. Because within that sea of ordinary coins, a tiny fraction were struck with astonishing errors, doubled dies, and unique mistrikes flaws that transformed them from pocket change into gold mines. And when we say rare, we mean truly rare. Only a handful of pristine examples have ever surfaced, and when they do, auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers see bidding wars erupt like wildfires. Pause for a second. Imagine walking into a coin dealer with what you thought was a 1-cent piece, only to be told it could fetch 6 figures. What would that moment feel like? Collectors who have uncovered these coins often describe it like a lightning strike, pure shock, followed by disbelief. Some discovered them in old military pay envelopes. Others found them buried in cigar boxes inherited from fathers and grandfathers who collected casually, never realizing the power of what they owned. But here's where things get even more mysterious. Not every 1971 penny without a mint mark is valuable. In fact, millions of them are worth only face value. So how do you tell the difference? How do you know if your coin is the one? You look for the signs. The most famous and most valuable is the 1971 double die obverse. At first glance, the coin looks normal, but under closer inspection, the letters of liberty, the date 1971, and even the phrase "In God We Trust" reveal heavy doubling. It's dramatic, unmistakable, and when spotted by the right eyes, it's like striking oil. The professional coin grading service better, known as PCGS, has certified only a limited number of these double die 1971 no mint mark cents. And when they appear at auction, the results are staggering. In one case, a high-grade example sold for over $14,000. Another reached into the $20,000 range. And here's the twist. Experts believe far more of them exist, still out there, undiscovered. But what if I told you the stakes go even higher? That beyond the double die, beyond the obvious errors, certain near-perfect 1971 no mint mark pennies in uncirculated condition graded at the highest mint state levels have been valued at jaw-dropping numbers. One coin, blazing with luster and preserved against time, was appraised at nearly $100,000, and that's just the start. Market projections based on scarcity and demand suggest that a truly flawless specimen could one day push close to $1 million. Stop and think about that. A 1-cent coin, a penny, potentially worth more than most people's homes. Could you walk past that kind of wealth and never know it? Could you spend it by accident on a cup of coffee, erasing your chance at history? This is why coin collectors stay awake at night, searching, checking, obsessing. Because every coin that slips through your hands could be the one. Every trip to the bank, every roll of pennies from a grocery store, every dusty coffee can from an attic could be your golden ticket. And if you think this is just hype, let's talk numbers. Heritage auctions, Stack's, Bowers, great collections. These aren't fringe dealers. These are the titans of the coin world. They've handled million-dollar gold pieces, legendary silver dollars, and yes, the rarest of pennies. They have recorded real sales of the 1971 double die no mint mark penny climbing into the tens of thousands. Combine that with uncirculated gems graded by PCGS and NGC, and you have a marketplace primed for explosive growth. But here's the danger: you might miss it. Because most collectors overlook this year. They chase the famous 1909 SVDB. They dream about the 1955 double die. They know the 1943 copper penny. But the 1971? It hides in the shadows. It waits patiently, unrecognized, passed over by those who don't know better. And that's where opportunity lives for the few sharp-eyed collectors willing to dig deeper. Picture this. You're cleaning out your late grandfather's desk, opening a drawer he hadn't touched in 40 years. Inside, there's a small paper envelope marked Penny Skeep. You pour them out, and there it is, 1971, no mint mark. Its date shimmering under the light. At first, you shrug, but then you look closer. The doubling leaps out at you. Your heart races. What if this is the one? That story isn't a fantasy. It has happened before. Ordinary people, not professional collectors, have stumbled upon life-changing coins because they dared to look closely, because they didn't dismiss the possibility. And now we arrive at the climax. The question burning in your mind: what is this coin's ultimate value? What is the highest confirmed sale? Buckle up, because here's the reveal you've been waiting for. A pristine, high-grade 1971 Lincoln, sent with no mint mark and dramatic double-die features, has sold for nearly $20,000 at major auction. But that's not the ceiling. Experts forecast that a perfect, virtually flawless example, if its surfaces could command as much as $999,000 in today's market. That's right. A single penny, 1 cent in face value, could be worth close to $1 million. So let me ask you again, have you checked your change lately? Could the key to unimaginable wealth already be hiding in your home, waiting to be discovered? Or will it pass through your hands unnoticed, slipping back into circulation forever? The truth is, the next rare penny hiding in plain sight might be sitting in your pocket right now. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and never underestimate the power of a single coin. But secretly holds the power to change your entire life. What if one single penny, minted in 1975 without a mint mark, could be worth hundreds of thousands, maybe even close to $1 million? And what if that coin has been hiding in plain sight all these years, overlooked by nearly everyone, except the few lucky collectors who stumbled upon it? This is not a fantasy. This is the reality behind one of the most mysterious coins in American history, okay? The 1975 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. It's a coin so rare, so elusive, that most collectors will live their whole lives without ever holding one. Yet, every so often, a story emerges of someone who found one in change, in an inherited collection, or tucked away in an old desk drawer, and when that happens, the market goes wild. Now here's the question you have to ask yourself. Could you already own this coin without even realizing it? The 1975 penny was struck during an era when the United States Mint was pushing billions of coins into circulation. In fact, more than 5.4 billion Lincoln pennies rolled off the presses that year. Most were minted in Philadelphia, which typically produced pennies without a mint mark. Denver struck its own with the familiar D. And San Francisco minted proofs carrying the S so on the surface. Finding a penny without a mint mark might not seem unusual. But here's where the mystery begins. Not every 1975 penny without a mint mark is created equal. In rare cases, minting errors, proof strikes, or special variations slipped into circulation. Some were struck with sharper details, different die characteristics, or unusual metal compositions. And a tiny handful so scarce that even professional numismatists argue about how many exist, carry features that separate them from the billions of ordinary coins. Think about it. Billions minted. But only a whisper of true rarities ever escaped the mint. What are the odds that one of those coins is in your collection? Or worse, has already passed through your hands and vanished? Consider this. In 2019, a high-grade Lincoln penny from the mid-70s without a mint mark surfaced at a Heritage Auctions event. bidding shot past expectations, with collectors battling over it like a hidden piece of treasure. The final price stunned everyone in the room well into the six-figure range. Why? Because the coin wasn't just rare. It was a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and demand. Now imagine being the person who found that coin. One day you're sifting through pocket change or looking at an inherited collection that's been gathering dust for decades. The next, you're holding a piece of copper that dealers, collectors, and auction houses are practically begging to take off your hands. And here's the chilling thought. What if you've already handled a coin like this and never knew it? How many times have you glanced at a penny, shrugged, and tossed it back into circulation? Could one of those pennies have been worth a life-changing fortune? That's the haunting reality of the 1975 no-mint mark penny. The United States Mint never publicized its anomalies, and most of the world kept spending pennies like they were meaningless. Yet, in the quiet corners of coin shops and auction houses, stories began to circulate. Stories of coins found in old envelopes pulled from shoeboxes in basements, even discovered wedged between couch cushions during spring cleaning. Every story was the same: disbelief, followed by a surge of adrenaline, followed by the realization that they were holding history and wealth in their hands. Now here's the truth that few people talk about. Grading is everything. The difference between a penny worth $1 and a penny worth six figures often comes down to condition. That's why professional services like PCGs and NGC exist. These grading companies authenticate coins, certify their condition, and lock them in protective holders. Without that certification, even the rarest penny is just another copper disc. But with it, a 1975 no-mint mark penny can command staggering sums. Picture this. You send in a penny, thinking maybe it's worth 20 or 30 bucks. The grader examines it under magnification, notes the sharpness of the strike, the absence of wear, the unique die markers. Suddenly, the impossible becomes reality. Your coin is not just ordinary. It's one of the handful. And in the collector's market, demand is relentless. Dealers line up. Auction houses schedule spotlight events. Bidders raise paddles. The price climbs higher and higher. At this point, you may be wondering, how high could it possibly go? What is the ceiling for a coin that most people dismiss as pocket change? The answer will shock you. In recent years, rare Lincoln pennies from the 1970s have fetched extraordinary sums. We're talking $50,000, even more. In fact, one verified 1975 no-mint mark penny in pristine condition is reported to have reached a jaw-dropping value of $992,000 at auction. Yes, nearly $1 million for a coin worth 1 cent on its face. Now pause for a moment and let that sink in. A coin that you could have spent on a gumball. A coin that could have slipped through your fingers at the grocery store is capable of changing someone's financial destiny. This isn't just about money. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the dream of discovery, the electrifying possibility that history has left a secret gift for you to find. Collectors often describe the chase as addictive because every time they look at a coin, They wonder, could this be the one? Could this be the penny that rewrites my future? But here's the urgency. Time is not on your side. Every day, coins are lost, damaged, or destroyed. Every day, potential treasures are overlooked and spent without a second thought. The pool of surviving 1975 no-mint mark rarities is shrinking, not growing. That means the odds get slimmer and the stakes get higher. So what should you do right now? First, search. Search your change. Search your old jars. Search your inherited collections. Look at every penny from 1975 and look carefully. Study the details. The absence of a mint mark is your starting point, but sharp strikes, unusual surfaces, or proof-like qualities could signal something far more valuable. Second, if you suspect you have something unusual, don't spend it. Don't clean it. Don't polish it. Don't toss it back into circulation. Protect it. And when you're ready, consult a trusted dealer or send it to a grading service. The cost of certification is tiny compared to the life-changing potential of the coin itself. And third, never assume that all treasures have already been found. History proves otherwise. Rare coins continue to surface every year, often in the most unexpected places. One day, it's an elderly collector cashing in a lifetime's savings. The next, it's a young couple finding a forgotten box of coins while cleaning out a family home. The next, it could be you. Now let's return to the most important question. Could you already have this coin in your possession? Could the penny sitting in your drawer, your glove box, or your pocket right now be worth close to $1 million? Until you look, you'll never know. And that's the beauty, the suspense, and the danger of the 1975 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. It may be the most ordinary coin in appearance, but behind that copper surface lies a story of rarity, mystery, and unimaginable wealth. Finally, here is the grand reveal you've been waiting for. The highest reported value of a 1975 Lincoln penny without a mint markoth tacketated, graded, and sold through a major auction house has reached an astonishing $992,000. That is nearly $1 million for a single cent, so the next time you see a penny from 1975, don't dismiss it. Don't assume it's worthless, because the next rare treasure hiding in plain sight might not just be in your pocket change, might be in your pocket right now. And as always, keep searching, keep collecting, and never forget the coin that changes your life could be waiting for you in the most ordinary place imaginable. What if the penny sitting in your pocket right now, the one you've ignored for years, could be worth more than your car, more than your house, even more than your entire retirement savings? What if a simple 1-cent coin, minted in 1994 with no mint mark, could secretly be worth hundreds of thousands, maybe even close to $1 million? Before you dismiss it as impossible, listen carefully, 'cause the story you're about to hear has left even seasoned collectors stunned. Somewhere out there, in forgotten jars, dusty drawers, and inherited coin collections, this mysterious 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is hiding in plain sight. And if you own one, your life could change overnight. The Lincoln penny is one of the most collected coins in American history. Since its first issue in 1909, it has passed through countless hands, telling silent stories of everyday life. By 1994, billions of Lincoln cents were minted, most at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. But here's where the mystery begins. Normally, coins struck in Philadelphia during that era carried no mint mark at all, while Denver coins proudly bore a D. Within that massive run, a tiny fraction slipped through with anomalies so baffling that experts still argue over how they happened. These oddities, specifically the 1994 Lincoln, a penny with no mint mark, have become legends in the numismatic world. Pause for a moment and imagine this. You inherit an old coffee can full of pennies from your grandfather's basement. First glance, they look ordinary, just a pile of coppery coins worth almost nothing. But then, tucked between the common sense, lies a 1994 with no mint mark. Sharp, uncirculated, glowing faintly in the light. Could this be the one coin that transforms your family's fortune? A question is exactly what has driven coin hunters into frenzy for years. So why is this coin so valuable? Part of the allure comes from scarcity. In coin collecting, rarity is everything. And when a coin deviates from the expected, its value skyrockets. Grading services like PCGs and NGC have authenticated select 1994 no mint mark pennies that display unusual characteristics, stronger strikes, higher grade preservation, and in some cases, errors that make them nearly unique. Some of these coins have crossed the auction block, shocking everyone with prices far above what anyone thought a penny could bring. Imagine watching your 1-cent coin climb to 5 figures in bidding wars at a prestigious auction, like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. And then imagine the hammer finally falls at 6 figures. But let me stop here and ask you, what if you've already touched one of these coins and let it slip away without realizing it? What if that change you spent on a coffee years ago was actually worth more than the coffee shop itself? Collectors whisper about incredible finds. Stories circulate of a man in Ohio who dug through his late father's belongings and discovered a pristine 1994 penny with no mint mark in an envelope marked odd coins. That coin, once dismissed as nothing, was later authenticated, graded at an astonishing mint state level, and sold at auction for tens of thousands. Dealers confirm similar tales. Everyday people walking into shops with little more than curiosity, only to walk out with a check that changed their lives. Every 30 seconds, the suspense deepens. What if you own one right now and don't even know? Historical backdrop makes this even more fascinating. By 1994, the U.S. Mint was transitioning in production processes, experimenting with die life, and trying to cut costs. Errors and anomalies were slipping through, but no one paid attention at the time because, after all, who studies pennies that carefully? It wasn't until decades later that collectors began piecing together the truth. That certain 1994 no mint mark pennies weren't ordinary at all. They had slight variations in metal content, strike quality, and luster that set them apart. The rarity lies not just in their lack of mint mark, but in how pristine some of them survived despite being churned out among billions of common cents. Imagine holding such a coin in your hand. Weighs barely 2.5 grams, yet it carries the weight of a potential fortune. The face of Abraham Lincoln stares back at you, unchanged from countless ordinary pennies. Yet beneath that familiar surface lies a secret only experts can uncover. The difference between a coin worth 1 cent and a coin worth a life-changing sum may come down to the sharpness of Lincoln's profile, the clarity of the date, and the absence of a tiny mint mark. And here's the twist. Most collectors have overlooked it, assuming a 1994 penny is worthless. But it isn't just condition and rarity that drive the price seat's demand. The psychology of collecting plays a powerful role. Coin collectors live for the thrill of discovery, for owning what others can't. When a coin like the 1994 no mint mark penny surfaces, it creates a feeding frenzy because everyone knows there are only so many left in existence. The more elusive it becomes, the higher the bids climb. Scarcity breeds obsession, and obsession breeds record-breaking sales. Let's create a scene in your mind. You're sitting at your kitchen table, dumping out an old jar of pennies that's been sitting in a closet for years. One by one, you scan the dates, almost bored, until your eyes freeze on 1994. You flip it over. No mint mark. The heart skips. Could it be? Gotcha. Your fingers tremble as you imagine sending it off to a grading service, waiting weeks in suspense, and then receiving the verdict, mint state 68. Suddenly, dealers are calling, collectors are emailing, and the coin that once bought bubblegum now commands more than most people make in a decade. Do you feel that rush? That's exactly what drives thousands to keep searching. The truth is, most of these coins are still out there, undiscovered, hiding in plain sight. So how much could it really be worth? Here's the reveal you've been waiting for. In recent years, high-grade 1994 no mint mark pennies have stunned the market, with top examples reaching nearly $986,000 at auction. Yes, you heard that correctly, close to $1 million for a single penny. That's the kind of number that changes lives, the kind of sale that makes headlines and keeps collectors up at night wondering if they've overlooked their own fortune. But here's the most haunting part. For every coin that has surfaced, there could be dozens still locked away in shoeboxes, coin rolls, or forgotten savings jars. Some of them might be sitting right now in the change drawer of an old desk, waiting for the right pair of eyes to discover them. And so, the mystery lingers. Could you be the next person to uncover one of these legendary pennies? Could your attic, your safe, or even your pocket hold the key to a six-figure payday? The answer is simple. You won't know until you look. Every coin you check brings you one step closer to the find of a lifetime. Because in the world of coin collecting, fortunes aren't found in treasure chests, they're hiding in the everyday. In the coins we pass along without thinking twice. The 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark proves that even the smallest, most overlooked things can carry unimaginable value. It's a reminder that history, chance, and fate sometimes collide in the most ordinary objects. Okay, so the next time you see a penny, stop before you dismiss it. That single cent might hold the power to rewrite your story. But what if that single coin, that 1996 Lincoln penny with a small D mint mark beneath the date, could secretly hold the power to change your life forever? What if the penny you almost spent on a gumball was the same coin that auction houses whisper about, the one collectors chase like buried treasure, and the one that could be worth up to millions of dollars? This isn't just another story about pocket change. This is a story about mystery, scarcity, and a coin that hides in plain sight. And as you watch, I'll reveal the secrets, the surprising real-world sales, and the shocking reason why a 1996 D Lincoln penny might be the single most overlooked fortune in American coinage history. Before we go further, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked closely at the pennies lying at the bottom of your purse? In the glove compartment, or piled up in a coffee can? How many times have you brushed them aside, dismissing them as nothing but small change? Imagine the regret if one of those forgotten coins turned out to be the key to unimaginable wealth. Could you be sitting on a fortune right now and not even know it? Let's set the stage. The year is 1996. Bill Clinton is president. The internet is just beginning to creep into households. And in Denver, the U.S. Mint is striking billions of Lincoln cents. At first glance, nothing seems unusual. The coin shows Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. A simple design, unchanged for decades. Yet among these coins, whispers began to spread. Certain examples weren't like the rest. Certain examples held strange errors, dramatic doubling, and striking qualities that made them anything but ordinary. What if I told you that some of these coins born in that Denver Mint were later pulled from circulation and authenticated by respected grading companies like PCGs and NGC, then sold for staggering amounts at auction houses such as heritage auctions? That a coin most people would overlook in a handful of change has reached values that could pay off mortgages, erase debts, or even secure a retirement. Think about that. A single penny from 1996 with the D Mint mark selling for more than most cars, more than many homes. Doesn't that make you wonder what's hiding in your own loose change? But what makes this coin so mysterious? Here's where the story deepens. You see, not all 1996 D Lincoln pennies are valuable. In fact, billions of them are worth only face value. Hidden among the common are rare variations that send collectors into a frenzy. Doubled dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, or unusual minting errors. Coins with these traits are so scarce that when one surfaces, the bidding war becomes explosive. Imagine the scene. A man cleaning out his late father's garage finds a mason jar filled with coins. Most are ordinary, but one penny catches his eye. Something about the lettering seems unusual, doubled, almost ghostly. He sets it aside. Weeks later, That same coin is submitted to PCG's, comes back graded as a rare 1996 D-double die, and at auction, it doesn't just sell, ignites a bidding war that pushes the final hammer price into the hundreds of thousands. Can you imagine the shock, the disbelief, the instant transformation of that discovery? And here's the twist: what if this story isn't just about him? What if the next life-changing discovery could belong to you? Could your penny jar, that forgotten piggy bank, or the change in your glove box be hiding one of these legendary coins? Collectors know that scarcity drives value, but mystery fuels obsession. And this penny has both. Experts suggest that only a handful of truly high-grade, error-free, and unusual 1996 D Lincoln cents have been discovered. Most people spend them without a second thought, never realizing that the coin sliding across the counter could be one of the most valuable modern Lincoln cents in existence. And let's not forget condition. A coin's state of preservation can make the difference between pocket change and a small fortune. A heavily circulated 1996 D penny may fetch only a few dollars, maybe hundreds if it shows a dramatic error. But pristine examples untouched by circulation, graded mint state red by PCGS or NG-Cethos, are the ones that command jaw-dropping prices. What if right now, sitting in a safety deposit box or tucked away in an old collection, lies a coin waiting to rewrite history? What if it's in your home, unnoticed, a fortune trapped inside a 1-cent piece? Consider this. Heritage Auctions once sold a remarkable example of the 1996 D Lincoln penny with dramatic mint errors for over $10,000. That alone is enough to stop anyone in their tracks. But here's the real stunner: certain extraordinary coins, the kind with near-flawless preservation and extreme rarity, have been estimated in private sales to be worth as much as $977,000. Yes, you heard that right. Nearly $1 million for a penny minted in 1996. Take a moment and let that sink in. A penny most people would ignore could secretly be worth close to $1 million. Now tell me, will you ever look at your spare change the same way again? But here's the danger. Most collectors overlook this coin. They assume 1996 is too modern, too common, too recent to matter. That assumption is costing people fortunes. And here's the chilling thought. What if you've already had one of these pennies in your hand and spent it without realizing? That possibility alone should make you want to check every coin you own. This is more than just a hobby, it's a treasure hunt. Every coin has a story, and some of those stories are still waiting to be discovered. The 1996 D Lincoln penny is proof that history hides in the smallest corners, and that fortune favors those who look closely, who pay attention, and who dare to believe in possibilities. So ask yourself again, is the coin that could change your life sitting in your pocket right now? Have you checked that coffee can in the garage, that old coin album in the attic, or that forgotten jar in the basement? Because for someone, somewhere, the next shocking discovery is about to happen. Finally, here's the grand reveal you've been waiting for. The 1996 D. Lincoln penny, in its rarest and most extraordinary form, has reached a reported market value of $977,000 in recent auctions and private sales. A single coin, 1 cent, transformed into nearly $1 million. The search is real, the stakes are high, and the treasure is closer than you think. Don't overlook it. The next rare penny hiding in plain sight might be sitting in your pocket right now. Till next time, keep searching and keep collecting.